Hey y'all, welcome to another video from WreckingOut.com. So we've been out in the field doing some scouting now that all the leaves are off the trees and the season's over. So today I'm going to show you how I take the Worksharp knife and tool sharpener, add the grinding attachment, and how I put a edge back on my machete, which I've dulled from hitting trees and rocks and vines as we're scouting around. So I'm just installing the grinding attachment now. Depending on how you want to use your machete, you're going to want to pick the right angle. So if you're doing a lot of fine cutting like grasses, I'd use like a 20 to 25 degree. If you're doing more chopping of wood, 25 to 30, I pick right in the middle at 25 degrees because I do a little bit of both, but I want it to maintain an edge for a pretty long time after chopping wood. So I don't use this often with knives. I have a video where I've sharpened my hunting knives and I don't use the grinding band. This is for like reprofiling, and then I just use it on things like an axe or a machete. So put the grinding grit band onto the grinding attachment, and then just square it up. If you've never used the Worksharp, I actually have another video that I'll link to, but you want to just make sure that it's running evenly, just like you would a belt sander. So this is my machete of choice. It's a Tramontina. That's how I pronounce it. They're pretty readily available, but as you can see, mine after use has been, won't even cut the sheet of paper. Finally get it to do a little bit of a tear right here. So it obviously needs some work. So how I do this, the first thing you want to do is turn on the Worksharp and then hold the button in that allows it to run without keeping your hand on it. And the goal here is to build a burr, or to work a burr up. So as you run it across the grinder, count the number of times because you're going to want to even it out eventually, but you're only going to grind on one side. And what we're trying to do is raise a burr across the entire length of the blade. When you take your thumb, you'll run it over the blade, and it'll catch a little bit on your skin. You want that all the way up the blade, and that means you have a burr. Once you've done that, remember the count and do the exact same amount on the other side. And this is the first pass we'll do with the grinding blade, or grinding grit band. And then you can take that off. And at this point, it's just a matter of working your way up the grits. So this is an X65. Once that's on, I usually do 6 to 8, sometimes 10 strokes. As you can see, I'm alternating back and forth. That way I make sure I'm always even. Move to the X22 band grit. Same thing, 6 to 8, sometimes 10. And then I use the X4, which is the last band I'll use. We're going to do 10 strokes every time. Once you've done that, you can see kind of that silver edge that's polished all along the blade. This particular machete actually doesn't sharpen the tip, so you'll notice that it's a little bit thicker. But I do sharpen it, I just don't use it. And then you take the paper and you have a sharp machete again. So the Worksharp is an awesome tool. I love this thing, especially the grinding attachment, because I have a lot more control. You can use it for everything from your hunting knives to axes, so it's just a great investment. I use it all the time. I used to use an angle grinder for sharpening my machete. Now I'm exclusively using the Worksharp. Hope it helps y'all as you're out there scouting.